probed the security architecture that currently obtains in the country. What are your thoughts?
Well, for me, its first instinct is outrage, because I remember maybe last week, I posted a video of one of my sessions here with you, 2021, first quarter 2021. I was seated right over there on the other chair, and it was about kidnappings, and I was reading out the data of the different states where it was happening, the numbers and all of that, like we saw in the report from Civic Society this morning. And unfortunately, it's like we have somehow jumped into a time machine and gone back there again. Only that in this case, it has become worse. So one would expect that by now, that our security agencies have been able to look for dynamic ways to tackle these issues, because it isn't new to us. It isn't fresh to us, because even in 2021, it wasn't the first time it was happening in such a wave that we had been complaining about it for many years before then. So the question is, what have they been doing so far? Because if criminality is taking a different form, are you being dynamic in your approach to respond to it as well? So it isn't enough to say that maybe they're overstretched or not. The question is, are they being dynamic in execution? Because the president can only do so much. The politicians can only do so much. You are the people that will face them head on. Have you thought about to say, these are the things that we need to get done? These are the equipments we need. These are the strategies we need to have to be able to see that we quash these things. And somehow I don't understand why all these issues keep happening, and it seems like they go unpunished because they don't happen in a vacuum. They happen in a particular community. You have kidnappings happen in a community. You have their camps in a particular community within certain states. So the question is, what are security agencies doing in those places? What are the local authorities doing in those places? What are the community leaders doing in those places? Will you tell me that you have vast array of land and you cannot account for the people that go in and out of it? Because you keep hearing that they move their camps every day, they move their camps every 2 days. You have people who are likely on maybe motorcycles, all kinds of vehicles, moving hundreds of people every 2 days, and you're telling me that your community, you do not know what is going on, you are unaware of it. I think everybody needs to sit up and needs to have serious conversations about this thing. Everybody is complicit in this matter. Everybody is. And we must say it as it is. Unfortunately, right now, we have kidnappings becoming a daily occurrence now, especially in Abuja. I don't know how that's come to be. So we need to see how we address these issues, and we must address them objectively and strategically. The security agencies need to be very dynamic with how they approach this issue. It cannot be business as usual, because the criminals themselves are not operating business as usual any longer. So we need to see how we get things done, and we must do it effectively. Enough is enough. Nigerians are under a lot of stress and strain as it is, given from the issues primarily from the economy. We cannot be looking over our shoulders and say that, okay, the person walking behind me is trying to snatch me, is trying to throw me in the vehicle. What is going on? Different parts of the country, all kinds of things going on. Yesterday, we had 2 monarchs killed in Ekiti State. Every other day, we have people killed in one place or the other. Kidnappers, ritualists, one-chance operators. When are we going to stop all of this? And like I keep saying that I've always said here on other platforms over the years, is when bad behavior is not punished, it is encouraged. Because the question that we should also ask ourselves is, why are these things on the rise? Because if you have heard and seen that the folks that kidnapped somebody in a particular place have maybe been gunned down, or they've been taken to court and sentenced to life imprisonment, it should serve as some kind of deterrent to the people who want to think about it as well. But somehow we keep seeing new factions, new groups, new sectors, new subsectors coming up every single day, because people believe that it is a lucrative business, it is a way to generate revenue that is untaxed, that is not monitored by anybody, and it's free for all. But until we are able to let them know that you try this, you waste your life, either you are gunned down when you are trying to be apprehended, or you are taken to the court of law where you serve a life imprisonment, these things will keep happening, and we'll keep having these conversations year on year.
To what extent do you agree with this intensified calls for state police. Mr. Olokoba has even raised an element of the politicization, so to speak, of this.
Yes.
If corrected, if we're able to, go past these issues of the politics of state police now, could it work?
It should work because at this point, we have to try new things. A couple of years ago, I believe, maybe a decade ago, we had this conversation around state policing, and then there were a lot of us that were saying, don't do it, and people were saying they use it for political assassinations and all of that. But so far, what we have so far isn't working. So can we try something else? Can we try something else? And why are we not trying something else? Because what we have so far isn't working. And somebody said it's insanity to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. So can we do something else to see that it works and be able to put strong legal framework in place to ensure that there are limits and boundaries to how their charter works? You can't go beyond this particular area, and we're able to strategically articulate what they should do per time. Because if we keep relying on what we have now, I'm afraid we'll keep having these conversations over and over again. So we must see how we go about state policing and policing at the local levels, because in the end, we say everything is local. Politics is local, business is local, security is also local, because all of these people come from different places, they come from different homes, they operate in different communities, and there are people that belong to those communities, and they must be able to say that they can protect and secure their own communities, because in the end, they're the primary stakeholders of what goes on there. We're in Kosovo local government now. If you are saying if somebody in Alimosho should be drinking Panadol for your headache, how does that work? If issues affect where you are, address it where you are. Because either you like it or not, what the issues you refuse to address in your own particular community is one day going to come and knock on your own door. The question is it going to come and knock at your door to ask for a cup of salt, a cube of sugar? Or is it going to come and knock at your door with a gun in hand and asking for your life? So we need to have these conversations critically and be very serious about it. Enough of the games, enough of the politicking, enough of whatever we've been doing so far that hasn't been working. We need a new approach. We need an effective approach to see that we get this done and we get it done as soon as possible. So yes, state policing right now is looking like a very good alternative. Local policing at the local level is also looking like a very sensible idea. We must be able to secure our communities, because before anything rises to the national level, it does start at the local level. That is how everything works.
The Senate has, talked about summoning service chiefs as from next week, in addition to meeting.
What end? To what end?
With the president.
To what end? We've been doing this summoning. Are they going to flog them? Or they're going to tell them, kneel down, raise your hands and close your eyes? To what end? We need to get serious about this. You are legislators, not prefects in secondary school that to say that, okay, you didn't lay your bed, come and get this done. We need to be serious about it. You are legislators. Make laws that ensure that these things get done the way they should be done. And the summoning as well, I'd expect that it's not just a one-sided Q&A. The security chiefs coming should also be able to give recommendations. Say that these are our limitations under the current law that we have. Can you see what to do about it? So if we are not going in that direction with all these summonings, I believe it's just a bloody waste of time.
Further admonitions will you be making in this regard, especially in the area of ungoverned spaces, which is the haven for these criminals?
Personally, I don't believe any space is ungoverned, because every particular space is under the governance of a particular authority, either local or state, before it gets to federal. So everybody must take responsibility. Because when we say things like ungoverned spaces, it means that somebody is being absolved of their responsibilities. There's no space that is ungoverned. I can't enter this studio and start swinging your camera around and say that because maybe somebody isn't standing there, he went to have a cup of water to drink. So there are governed spaces, and we must hold the people governing those spaces accountable. So that is just that. We must be responsible, and we must be decisive. We must be strategic. Like we've said, the security architecture as is ineffective. It's inefficient. It cannot work. We must be strategic about it and be dynamic with how we execute the strategies that we have. How you will execute strategies in Borno State are not the same with how you execute it in Delta State. You must understand the local terrain to see that you understand the cultural motivations behind certain things, the cultural differences behind certain issues, behind certain crimes, they may appear to be the same. Because you'll be surprised that the reason why somebody will kidnap somebody in Kaduna State is not the same reason why they will kidnap in Delta State. These are very different issues, different motivations here. So you must see how you address those motivations and include them in your strategies to see how you execute effectively. Or else, if you keep importing something that doesn't apply to a particular locale, you'll see that you are ineffective and nothing gets done eventually.
All right, gentlemen, Dipo,